Meta's AI just randomly rewrote my client's winning ad and it tanked their ROAS overnight. Now, if you don't know how to turn off those so-called enhancements, you might be next. I'm Justin Lalonde, and over the last 12 months, we've spent over $20 million on paid ads for our clients, and some of these new AI features from Facebook are honestly just scaring me. Now, in the next few minutes, I'll share with you the exact settings to turn off that are currently silently destroying your campaigns, and which ones to keep and when would you want to do so. So to get straight into it, I want to start with a little story right here from one of our consulting clients and a great friend of mine right here at the agency. Okay, so that being said, this is a screenshot of a text conversation that we had a couple of weeks ago. He was like, "Yo, how do we turn this off? Like, what's causing this?" And this was like one of his ads. Okay, right here where he was showing how like at the bottom of the ad, there's just like a bunch of call outs right here that said like browse the website, and you could just click on like a gazillion different destination links. And then he was like, "Do you know if it's like this button or that button? Like what exactly is causing that?" Okay, and if I open the second screenshot, this is how it looks like on Facebook. You have like a lot of these little rectangles at the bottom of your ad that show you a bunch of different websites, okay? Now, what happens is that those enhancements, although Meta is trying to help you out, you're sending people to every landing page that exists as like a sub page of your domain. So in other words, what I'm saying is like, say as an example, right? In my case, I have lp.paidadvertising.com is like our subdomain that has like all of our landing pages on there. So if I decide to turn on those enhancements on my Meta ad account, what happens is that if I say as an example, I'm going to send people to lp.paidadvertising.com/opt-in, which is like an opt-in page. So naturally, I would want those people to first opt in so I get them as a lead. Then maybe afterward, I want them to buy a product, so to check out. And then they can see like a booking page as an example. Well, here, they might be able to skip the opt-in page and click straight to the checkout page. Or even worse, which is what happened in this case, people were able to bypass the checkout page and go straight to the thank you page from those site links. So like it just sends you randomly to a page on the website, which it's messed up because now one, you don't control exactly where people end up landing on. And number two, you might be losing out on sales because your customers are already getting the product before they even purchased, which is crazy to think about. So now those specific enhancements right here are actually site links and optimizing website destination. Okay, I'll show you this live in an ad account in a second. Now, for whatever reason, Meta likes to show you different UI based on different ad accounts. So some of y'all might see different things than what I'm showing you right now. Okay, so as an example, okay, it might show up like this, where when you have your website and you put in your URL, below you might have optimized website destination turn on by default, which is, hey, we'll direct people to the most relevant page on your website when it's likely to improve performance. Turn this off, okay? Turn this off. The reason is the same one I just mentioned. You don't want to send people to random other pages, okay? When would I have this on? Honestly, I might leave this on for an e-com brand as an example. So like an e-commerce brand, if you want to test whether or not this does improve your results, it might not, by the way, okay? But say as an example, you're sending people to your homepage or your collection page of an e-com brand, you might want to turn this on because it might send people to a different collection page or straight to the product page instead or to the homepage instead. So that it's like not as bad as for like an info or service-based business, which you might want to send people to an opt-in page and you don't want them to be able to book a call before they opted in, right? So that's when I would want to do it and not do it in this case. The second enhancement in this case was this one, okay? Site links, which is a little more common inside of ad accounts. Now, those enhancements always show up at the ad level, okay? So what happens is if I scroll down at the ad level right here, one of those one, which I showed you earlier, it can show up, okay? It doesn't always show up, but it's this, optimized website destination. You see right now, it doesn't show up, okay? I don't have it right there, but it could have showed up. So if it does, make sure to turn it off. Now, multi-advertiser ad is another one, okay? So multi-advertiser ad is, I'm gonna open this up to show you essentially right here. It's basically where your customers might see a carousel or like almost like a catalog ad where you are one of like many businesses inside of that catalog, okay? They just show your ad across a lot of other people. Now, my personal experience with this, it doesn't necessarily improve your results, okay? If you don't care about having your ad show next to other competitors' ads, leave it on. If you don't want that, turn it off. It's more of a personal preference, I'd say, than an actual setting that really benefits of ad performance, okay? Now, moving on right there. Site links is one I showed you earlier, okay? This is also one of those that has like a lot of these little like icons below an ad. So what you would want to do is at creative setup, you'd want to click on edit and turn those off. By default, they're on, okay? Once again, only people that I would say it could make sense to have those on is e-commerce brands. And even if you're an e-com brand and you turn those on, you could manually decide to pick or put what URLs you want to have as site links. I would usually do homepage, collection page, and product page. That's it, okay? Those are the only ones I would have right here if you're going to be running an ad with site links on. Most other businesses, I would just turn this off entirely. So if I continue right there and I scroll down, okay? So scroll down. Now, first of all, this is another thing, okay? Meta has sometimes something called related media, okay? They're like, well, there's other ads that you have on inside of your ad account and library that are related to this ad. Would you like to add them inside of this ad? And now you have just a cluster of a bunch of different ads. I'd say no to that. Like, don't use related media in all cases. Personally, I would rather you do dynamic creative testing if you're going to be using a feature like this one, or at worst, flexible ads, even though I don't personally use those that much. Now, if I scroll down right here, okay, you're going to have another one called Advantage Plus Creative Enhancements. Those, I would always turn everything off, okay? Best way to do it, open it up, go to on, off. Now, that's what I do most of the time. The reason is I like to have control over my creative variables. If I turn this on, I start adding a bunch of different changes to the ad. Like text improvements, this literally means it might actually change the text that you have in the ad. As you see right here, either the copy, your ad headline, or the description. I don't want that, okay? Video effects, it might add like a filter in your video. Looks weird. Enhanced CTA, it might show a lot of different call to actions instead of like learn more. I don't want that. Visual touch-ups, it might change the appearance of the video. Again, I don't want that. I don't want any other variables on my ads, okay? I want to have control over my creatives because I'm moving along the thinking process of creatives is everything now. Creative is targeting. So if you don't have control over your creative, then like realistically, what do you have control on inside of your ad account? So turn it on, turn it off, which turns off everything in this case. That's what I do for most cases. When would I turn this on? If you're someone who's like, fuck it, I want to wing it. I don't care about looks. I just care about like giving Facebook as much freedom as possible to get me the right results. Turn it on, okay? I would test that inside of your ad account. If you're like, I don't care about branding, I just want to have the best results, you can turn it on. Now, this is not going to be as dramatic as like what I showed you earlier, where people literally end up on other landing pages and like they end up redirected to something else. Like that's a little more extreme. Those is just more, again, visual enhancements. This is personal preference. I always have it off. Personally, some of the only enhancements and Advantage Plus features that I use is at the ad set level. That's when it comes down to targeting. So in the targeting, I only include location nowadays. I don't even pick a minimum age. I don't even exclude custom audiences. I don't include custom audiences either. And I go with Advantage Plus placement, which shows my ads across every placement that Facebook could possibly show my ads on and determines the best placements automatically. To do so and make sure that my ads still look good, we always edit our ad creatives in a vertical format. So in a 9:16 video. So if I show you this as an aspect ratio, it's like that, okay? Those is gonna be like a story or reel format. And what we do is something like that, okay? So this is a perfect example of it. This is a 9:16 video. And what we do is we put a 4:5 and a 1:1 frame inside of it during our editing process so that all of the important subtitles and framing of the video fits if the video ever gets cropped on a feed placement. So that way we have like all of our important info right there. So by uploading an ad in 9:16, it means that it's the automatic cropping happening by Facebook will look good in pretty much every single placement that you have on the platforms. That is literally pretty much the only kind of automation or Advantage Plus feature that I actually use on almost every ad account that we have inside of the business. Now, talking about creative being the actual targeting and core focus of your ad account, I have a 2 hours free training on the channel. It says for e-commerce, but it works for info product coaching, service-based businesses, any sort of business type, honestly, for that matter. And it shows you exactly how to craft ad creatives and think about it the right way in 2025 now with this new sort of algorithm and era that is so creative focused. Okay, so check it out right here and bunch more marketing videos on the channel for you to also learn from. And with that being said, I'll be seeing you in the next one. Peace.